Hey guys, welcome to PCB Reflections, and here we're working on Mr. Julius's beautiful Grandsport. We're doing its first wash. This was a decontamination wash. It's a three-part wash process. It starts with a pre-rinse, and then we do a gentle wash, as you can see there, and then we do a clay bar treatment to remove all the attached environmental contamination that can be stuck to the surface that just a normal wash won't remove. This is the lube that we use during this process to ensure that we don't instill any micro marring. We don't want to scratch the surface during that process. So it's a very in-depth process. We also treat the car with Iron-X, which dissolves all phosphorus metals. We call that a chemical decontamination. Here you'll note there's a towel over the calipers, and that's so that when I pull the wheel off, just in case the wheel were to slip and fall, it doesn't damage the inside of the rim. That's a precautionary step that we take. This is after the wheels have been polished out, and we're prepping the wheels with optimum paint prep to remove all the polishing oil so that we can ceramic coat those rims before we install them back on the car. And then here we're removing some of the paint protection film that was installed by the factory. The factory paint protection film doesn't offer the coverage that's needed. It's a very small window of coverage when it comes to what the vehicle actually needs, and it has a tendency not to last as long as the products that we use. So after that was done, that car was ready, it was prepped, and then it was ready for its paint correction process. Between each section, we have to blow out our pads. We choose to use microfiber cutting pads just due to the fact that they cut very well and they finish down incredibly well. So that allows us during our polishing sessions, after our compounding sessions, which that's what this is, that allows us to polish out the surface to a higher gloss to remove some of those compound marring marks that you may have in surfaces. So we use the microfiber pads. As you can see here, we're doing a real tight area with a lot of curves. So we had to go to a small pad to be able to get down into those curves and really bring the depth of shine out through there. And then it was polished out with two more steps of polishing. Here we're prepping some of our paint protection film to get it ready for its install. And the car received quite a bit of coverage when it comes to Xpel paint protection film. Everything was pre-cut with a plotter using Xpel DAPS program, which is pretty much an industry standard when it comes to pre-cut kits. Here's a side skirt view. This was a rather long piece of paint protection film that we spread out over this, and it turned out pretty well. We were very happy with it. These are the lower door parts, which are pretty serious. This is the area we were pilling before when you saw us pilling it. That's the front of the rear quarters, and these things get destroyed, we've seen personally, within 2,000 miles. Here's some of the intricate bumper areas. These are the relief cuts that we'll talk about a little bit later. You can see there before I laid those down. And there's a finished picture of the side panels. And the front bumper was quite a job. Black is the most difficult color to put paint protection film on, by far. It requires a good bit of patience, some slow movement to prevent silvering and ghosting. We were able to perform this job and not get any silvering and ghosting. Unfortunately, we got 2 or 3 little pieces of trash, and it just takes a speck of dust. This film's so clear that just a speck of dust will show through. So just the tiniest little thing. After a 3-hour decontamination wash, and you clean the garage out and prep the garage, just the smallest speck will show through. It's unbelievable, but we did a very good job of eliminating that. And here's where we ceramic coated the glass, and this is the OptiCoat Pro Plus that went on the paint. That's a 7-year ceramic coating backed by Optimum Car Care products. We've been installing those products for a little over 6 years. And here we back Mr. Julius's beautiful Grandsport out into the sunlight for the first time after its 60-hour service. And it was just beaming with beauty, I tell you guys. The gloss was phenomenal after 3 stages of paint correction. There was quite a bit of polishing that went on in this vehicle. So we were very pleased with it. Mr. Julius's car came to us with 140 miles, and sometimes during manufacturing and the dealership handling the car, it can get rather beat up. So, not beyond what just a good detailer can fix, but well beyond what it should be when you take possession of your new car. So it's good to come see us when you get a new car. We'll go ahead and get the protection on it before any possible damage occurs from road driving, like rock chips and debris and things like that. You can see how good the paint protection film looks. This car was covered with Xpel Ultimate Plus, which is a warranty 10-year film. It's an extremely glossy film. It's just amazing. It's a self-healing film from light scratches and light indentations. And there's one of those relief cuts. Now, we do a great job of buttoning those cuts up, guys, but paint protection film is not like vinyl wraps. You cannot heat this and bend this as well as you can with vinyl wraps. It requires quite a bit of stretching, and then you can stretch it too much, and then it wants to pick back up. It's a difficult product to work with, but we enjoy the challenge of it. And here's some more of those relief cuts. Guys, you can always look at relief cuts and tell how good of an installer the guy was. How well did he match up his edges when it comes to these paint protection film jobs? That's something that's a key component with every job, is getting your edges tight. Don't leave these gaps on these edges that are it's unbelievable what you can see out there. But we try to take the time and center everything up so that everything matches up the way that it should. It's quite a lengthy process. We are not the fastest paint protection film installers by any means, but we love using Xpel. We love the durability of Xpel over other films. We've seen it firsthand. With other films, we haven't put them through their tests like we have with Xpel, but what we have done with Xpel, we were very impressed by what it's capable of protecting your vehicle from. So here you can see the clarity of the Xpel Ultimate Plus in the sunlight, which the sunlight and overcast days like this typically show a lot more than a full out sunny day. We've noticed that with paint conditions. Slightly overcast shows defects. There's an example of us meeting lines so that there was more of a seamless look in the paint protection film installation. And this front splitter was an aftermarket splitter, so we had to do a little customization there to get that front splitter covered properly. But Mr. Julius, we appreciate you, sir, and this was a beautiful detail, and your Grandsport is amazing, sir. Thank you.